We are pleased to be here in this time and place, and we are wanting all of you to be able to feel the brightness of the sun, to feel the light through the darkness. Many of you might be feeling like there's dark clouds around you at times, or that there is a dark place where you cannot see, or there's fear that comes up and bubbles up from your consciousness of everyday life. And we want you to notice and remember in the galactic areas that is happening right now. In other words, the Earth had a total eclipse recently, and it's interesting how the heavens, if you call it, and all of the solar systems and all of the bodies of planets and light that coincide and coexist, and what you do with that. In other words, a long time ago on Earth's history, of course, it was very magical and very disturbing for many when there was a solar eclipse, where there was all of a sudden darkness, and people had to make up the reason why that was, to make sense of it so that they could move on, so that they could understand. And you are still doing that to this day, where there is darkness that happens. And now, of course, many people know through scientific discovery that what is really happening is the moon is in the shadow of the sun. And oftentimes, if you look at the moon as your emotional anchor or the guidance that you have, your moon is your way of being in an emotional state, in your energy. And oftentimes the shadow comes in that form, and it can feel dark, and it can cover the light, and it can be frightening to many of you of what am I doing wrong, or why is there a lot of bumps in the road, or why can't I see the answer, or where is the light in my life, where is the joy, where is the connection, where is the sun and the life force that I know is mine, where did it go, why is it hiding? And many of you are going back and forth from that. In other words, sometimes you feel alive, sometimes you feel cloudy, and sometimes the darkness can overtake you, where you are seeking the light. And it is a metaphor why we speak it this way, because that is what is happening, you see, with the entire galactic council, is that you are getting to see what is dark and what is light, and see the contrast in that. And as we have said many times, if you embrace all of it, then it becomes more centering for you. So in other words, you do not feel as afraid, or you do not feel as lost, if you can remember the centering of your connection, that the sun is always there. And if you use that as a metaphor, when those things come up where you feel lost, or you feel uncertain, or you don't know what's next, to know that the sun is always there, that the moon or the shadow or the emotion that you feel around all of that will pass, and the sun is still there, you see. And many times you can look at all of those things that you say you do not want, or that you do not want to feel, or that you are afraid to look at. You can look at all of those and say, well, it won't be very long before I will be able to notice and feel the sun again. I know the sun is there. The sun is always there. And you see, the sun is your life force. The sun is your ability to allow yourself to be energized, to feel joy, and to feel connected. Therefore, when you have anything that comes up for you that does not feel of the light, you can remind yourself, oh, there it is again. I am in a solar eclipse. I am in the solar eclipse of my knowing, which means this will pass. And the sun is still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. My life force is still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. I'm just observing now a solar eclipse, and everything seems strange and everything seems uncertain and dark. And it is part of the process of life itself on this planet. And interestingly enough, so far from what the scientists say, is that the Earth is the only planet that actually happens. The moon is actually passing in an orbit that is the same size as the sun, and that does not happen, or so the scientists say, in any other planet that they know of. It is a unique response for Earth. And just as we have said all along, the Earth is your chosen home for now. It is not your chosen way of being forever. In other words, light travels, and you are light. And you can be moonbeams or sunbeams or light beings traveling very quick. And when you come to Earth, it becomes very dense in your feeling place because of your physical bodies. Therefore, to remind you that when you dream, or when you sleep, or when you meditate, or when you take a trip with any kind of psilocybin, or any kind of ceremony of ayahuasca, or any kind of opening of that veil, when you fly and you see and you experience things, it allows the denseness of your body to melt away. And it happens so that you can remember. And you can remember that you are light, and you are a light being, and you are very light indeed. And you chose to come here and experience this now, this physical body now. So why not enjoy every bit of it? If it is your choice, and if that is true for you, if you can lean into that knowing that you chose to be here, there is no reason why you came here to struggle. That is not why you are here. You did not intentionally say, I choose to come to Earth in this physical presence, in this moment and in this time, to suffer. I came here to experience. And part of the human experience and physical dense experience can feel suffocating at times and heavy. And you are in gravity. And the gravity of all of your situations can be seen and observed from the knowing that you chose this. And if you chose this at this time and place, then it makes sense, does it not, that it is here for you, and you are experiencing this for a reason, and to embrace it all, to embrace the light and the dark, to embrace it and observe it instead of absorb it, like we have said. Many of you absorb the negativity or the pain or the suffering or the fear. Many of you absorb the not knowing and can spiral into staying in that place until you do remember, or until something happens that you feel that it has lifted you up. And if you know what lifts you up in your life, we suggest to do that often. In other words, if you know what feels good to you, what brings you joy, what fills your battery, that's what this one says all the time, to be able to plug into the connection so that you feel alive and you feel full and you feel the warmth and you feel the love and you feel the joy of being here, then it is peaceful when you are able to allow that life force to flow through you, and more gratitude comes to you that way. Therefore, we suggest always to look for ways of uplifting yourself from a place of seeing the sun. In other words, ask yourself, what can I do today where I can feel the sun on my face, where I can feel the life force flowing through me? What can fill me up that I can allow myself to feel full again? If you are indeed depleted or uncertain, what we suggest is every day to start the day with, what can I do today to fill me up? What can bring me joy today, to enlighten me, to allow me to feel connected and feel the sun on my face, if you will, to feel peaceful? What can I do today to start the day this way, or to start the night this way? In other words, you don't have to just keep it to one time. You can do it at any time. And ask yourself, if this is not bringing me joy, and I know I have to do this particular task, change it, of course, to I get to do this task. I get to allow this now to find the sun again in everything that I do. And all will be well, dear ones. All is well at all times. It's a matter of understanding and not making up things like human beings did a long time ago about why it is dark when it should be light. To not make it up that it is an omen. What it is an ability to see the sun no matter what, to feel that experience no matter what that you have chosen, and to know that that too shall pass.